especially if you're new to photography, some of the best advice I've ever heard is that instead of chasing lots of lenses, find yourself one lens and stick with it. You know, stick with it for several months even. Like, just know that lens. Know what it can do and what it can't, and know how to get the most out of it. You know, you find the angles, you find the distance you need, and you learn how to work with that lens, because it's really amazing what you can do with one lens. And I mean, an 85 millimeter lens is by no means wide, but in many situations you can get a beautiful wide view. You just have to know how to find it, and that's part of the challenge, and that teaches you for the next lens you buy. You're going to have a totally different angle of view, like if, let's say, switching from this to the 35 millimeter. But at the same time, some of those same rules apply, and yet they're different. You know, I mean, I'm thinking of an example, like let's say you're trying to get a view between two pillars on a bridge. Maybe I even have an example here because I was shooting a bridge the other night, and if I don't, I apologize. But with this lens, you know, you can be further back and get between those pillars. But let's say you're trying to get something behind them, okay? So finding that angle with this lens versus finding the angle with that lens is going to be a very different thing, because that's going to be so much wider. It's not just about being closer up and getting through the pillars, but once you get there, that object in the background is going to be much different position. Or it's going to, everything relatively is going to be different. You're going to build a little repertoire of tricks for how to, not only how to find angles that you know work, but how to find new angles. And you're going to realize, you know, just A, moving around, B, you know, how can you get that camera into that angle? How close can you get before it's too close? How far away can you get before it's too far? You know, before this is blocking the shot from that angle or whatever. Things move around. It's really something that you have to be out there as much as possible, whether it's photos or videos, and getting to know your gear. Because you can have all the best gear in the world, but if you're not out there and you're not seeing the limitations as well as, you know, what you can do with your gear, you're not going to progress. You can still get lucky and get some beautiful shots. I mean, not necessarily even lucky, but I mean, of course, you know, I think most of us are naturally artists to some degree, and, you know, we see something beautiful and we take the picture, and lucky in the sense that if we have the right lens at the right time, when we try to take that picture, it's going to be great. But 9 times out of 10, even 999 times out of 1,000, that angle's not going to be perfect, the width's not going to be perfect, the distance is not going to be perfect, and as you progress, as you know this lens and that lens, and you decide maybe your favorite 2, or if, you know, you're younger than me, your favorite 3 or 4 lenses to carry around, you can switch them out quickly and say, okay, that's the lens I need for that. That's the lens that I think I may be able to get this shot with. And yeah, but what I do more often than not, though, these days is I you know, because I tend to go to the same places several times a week. So I just say, okay, well, you know, today I got the shots with that lens. I saw something there that I think I can get with the other lens, and I go back and I do my best to get it with another lens. And rather than carry 2 or 3 lenses around, I tend to just bring 1 lens with me. Sometimes 2, but rarely do I carry around 3 full frame lenses these days. I may have to soon, though, for the undisclosed location. So yeah, get out there, take some photos, take some videos. Don't be afraid to get into weird positions to get the photo you want. Don't be stupid. Don't walk off a cliff like some YouTubers. Seriously. It's great to get the shot, but be aware of your surroundings. Don't walk in front of cars. Don't walk in front of even bicycles. Just know your surroundings. And I'll tell you a good little bit of my own maybe somebody else has probably said this, but here's the great thing. If you, before you take the shot, you look around to make sure that nobody's coming on a moped or walking at a brisk pace or whatever, you might find a shot that you didn't realize. You know, that person coming on the moped might be on a bright pink moped wearing a dinosaur helmet or something. You know, you got it because you were thinking safety first. So that's your reward, your karmic reward. I think I'm going to end on that note.